Hey everybody, this is the push rebound coin from Mar.17. It's about $8, stainless steel, and basically does this. However, it's only going to do that for a short period of time before it breaks. And this video is how to bring it back to life. And it's worth it, I think, but it needs to be talked about. $8 isn't a lot to lose. I didn't make a big deal out of it. When it failed on me, I just figured out a way to take it apart, and I figured out a way to make it work again. So that's what this is about. Like I said, it was $8, and it's hollow initially. What you're hearing now is very muffled because there's foam inside here now that I added. Prior to that, it was so loud that it was really hurting your ears. I mean, I don't have a decibel meter, but very loud. And when it started to fail, you'll notice maybe a little bit of an indentation here. There's a little bit of a crease here. It's hard to see, but being hollow and not airtight, but nearly airtight, as I started to use it more, one side would end up sticking in. It would stay stuck in. And then I'd flip it over and hit this side, and that would pop it back out again. But eventually, because you can squeeze both sides at the same time, eventually I did that, and wouldn't you know it, both sides pushed in the whole way, and neither one of them were popping back out again. So that's how it's going to fail for you. And fortunately, it came apart fairly easy, and I debated on whether or not to speed this part up or not to show you. What we'll do is pause, and then I'll start to do it, and if it gets to be tedious, I'll speed it up. If not, we'll do it at normal speed. But what I want to do essentially is slowly, using force, and push this middle piece out. This outer piece is just a thin ring. Everything's held in there with just a little bit of a pressure fit. So let me just pause this for a second. Now we're going to go ahead and try to push it apart. So to do that, I'm just trying to put a little bit of pressure on the bottom and use my fingers to hold this outer edge. You can see it's starting to come out a little bit. Maybe you can hear it popping a little bit. I'll get my fingernails under there a little bit more. Oops, I'm doing a shitty job at filming this. There we go. Okay. So they didn't use any glue, as far as I could tell. Here's the ring. Focus. And if you look at the inside of the ring, I didn't see any indication of glue there. This is just two little thin caps that have been compression fit or pressed onto a form that fits this. This is just another metal ring here. Appears to be just carbon steel because it's rusty. But again, I was wondering, well, I got to get these apart. I wonder if they're glued, and it doesn't appear that they're glued either. But here you'll need some fingernails, and you want to slowly work your way. Well, it comes apart easy now, but if you're having trouble with it, you slowly work your way around the outside edge until one of these sides pops off. You only need to pop off one side. But you can see that I've added foam in here. Now this is foam that I happen to have on hand. It's about 1/4 inch thick, and it already had adhesive on the back. If I already didn't have this, all you have to do is go to Walmart or your local hobby store, and you can find sheets, 8.5 by 11 sheets of adhesive backed foam. It's usually 1/8 of an inch thick. If you went to a really good hobby store, you'd probably be able to get it in different thicknesses. But you know, with 1/8 inch thick, I simply would have cut squares that are about the same size as this. Of course, they'd only be 1/8 of an inch thick. But what you would do is put one piece down and then glue the next piece on top of that, and glue the next piece on top of that until you have your desired thickness. And do the same thing on both sides. Like I said, it's not necessary to pop this side out since you can get in there, but both sides will come off. And like I said, I had this 1/4 inch thick foam on hand. It's fairly squishy. You know, that's gonna depend. What you want to do though is trying to find a piece that gets this inner circle here, the part that gets depressed. You want to cover that up as much as possible, because that's the part that we're trying to get, you know, that the force to push back out again. And that seemed to work. So, you know, like I said, if you can't get 1/4 inch thick foam, get the 1/8 inch thick foam, stack it, do it slowly, try 2 pieces on one side, 2 pieces on the other side, put it together temporarily like this, and then squeeze it. Make sure that the sides are popping back out like that, and then take everything and just carefully push it back together again. And it seems like a nice, good press fit. They got their measurements fairly nice on this. I don't want to use glue on it, and I could understand why you wouldn't want to glue this thing up, because if you did seal this off and make it airtight, it might make it nearly impossible to push these buttons. And I think I did sort of emphasize, without the foam in there, this thing was incredibly loud. I mean, really, really loud. And that's something to keep in mind. So, $8, Mar.17. What was it called? Well, I said what it was in the beginning there. So, yeah, it's worth it, but you're going to have to fix it. But once you fix it, I think, well, time will tell, but I think I've solved the problem. There's enough resistance on the inside there to keep it pushing back out to its normal form, and then it's pretty nifty, I think. So dimension-wise, it is just a hair over 32 millimeters in diameter. It is a little bit thicker in the middle than this ring, which is a slight shame, because if the ring was a little bit thicker than the inside parts, then it would have sat. This is nice foam here, so this isn't going to do a good job, but it would have sat flat on a wooden surface, you know, a flat surface, and then you would have been able to click the button better. But because it's rounded on both sides, when you put it on something flat, it doesn't want to, you know, it kind of wants to rock and everything like that. So I wish the middle ring was just a little bit thicker. But again, diameter was about 32, 33. The thickness, which will be in the middle here, where the sides bulge out, is about 8 millimeters. And when we get to the edge, when we measure just the ring, it's about 7 millimeters. So it's not much, but it's enough. Pretty nifty. I might very well take this apart again and try using some of the 1/8 inch thick foam, just to see if I can make this a little. It's a little stiff. I might be able to make it a little less stiff, but it still needs to have enough energy to keep these sides bulged out. And that's it. Hope you found this useful. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to get back to you in the comments as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. Bye. One last thing. Let's go ahead and do the weight. About 16 grams, probably 15 without the foam inside. So that's it. I forgot that little part, but thanks for sticking around. See ya.